Most High God, the Most High God comes first. We're talking about the Jordan versus James debate. Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. And most people who play with Michael Jordan, they say that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And they give their reasons. But I want to say something about that whole thing. I want to show you guys something. See, I tend to think. A lot of people don't tend to think. They just go with whatever the prevailing thought is. Now, tell me. Everybody else talk about Michael and Michael and Michael and Michael. Explain this to me. When did Michael Jordan win a world championship without Scottie Pippen? They always talk about Michael and Michael and Michael and Michael's the greatest. And Michael and Michael and Michael and Michael. Well, when did the greatest player win a championship without Scottie Pippen on his team? We know they won championships with other team members, right? Those other team members didn't come up in a pair with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. The constant here in the two teams that won championships for the Bulls is Jordan and Pippen. They both were there. Michael Jordan said it, and I think you guys never grasped it, so I'm going to repeat it. When you say Michael Jordan, you must mention Scottie Pippen. See, you can't call Michael Jordan the GOAT because he won 6 titles. You'll have to mention Scottie Pippen with him as a GOAT. Because this is what we're going to go down, individual accomplishments. Michael Jordan never won a championship without Scottie Pippen. These are facts. Scottie Pippen did not win a championship without Michael Jordan. These are just facts. Now, what can be said about LeBron James is this. LeBron James won championships without the teammates that he had with him. So LeBron James is the constant here in the championships he won. Everybody else was switched out, right? With the LA Lakers, he won championships with Artest and Howard and AD. All these people were on his team. But when he won championships with the Heat, none of those guys were present. None of them. We had Butch and D. Wade. But we did not have any of those players I just mentioned on the Lakers that were playing with LeBron James. The constant when he won those championships was LeBron James. When LeBron James won the championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers, once again, LeBron James is the constant. In all those championships he won, he's the constant. There's nobody from the LA Lakers or from the Miami Heat with him when he wins this championship. Kobe Bryant won championships without Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal didn't have to be present for Kobe Bryant to win a championship. Shaquille O'Neal won championships with the Miami Heat, and he also won championships with the LA Lakers. No one from the Miami Heat was with him at the LA Lakers when he won his championship. These are very important points to understand. You see, you cannot mention Michael Jordan without mentioning Scottie Pippen. Everybody wants to praise Michael Jordan and call Michael Jordan and Michael Jordan, but the truth is, There is no Michael Jordan championship without Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is equally as important as Michael Jordan in winning championships. Now, if you say in your GOAT status that Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan are the GOATs, and then you have to compare LeBron James to these two, now we have a fair comparison. But anybody who wants to crown Michael Jordan as the greatest player of all time has to also mention Scottie Pippen in the same vein as the greatest player of all time. Scottie Pippen is correct. He is the greatest player of all time. And he'll say, well, how about the MVP statuses of Michael Jordan? I don't give a fuck about that shit. You cannot be an MVP and you're not winning championships. It all comes down to winning championships. And Michael Jordan had to have Scottie Pippen on the team for him to win championships. And Scottie Pippen had to have Michael Jordan on his team to win championships. So you cannot call Michael Jordan the greatest of all time without mentioning that Scottie Pippen is also the greatest of all time. And that can't happen because LeBron proved he can win championships irregardless of who's with him. No matter how you guys look at it. Yes, you can say the elite players were with him, but still, there are a lot of elite players with elite players in the NBA, and they don't win championships. But LeBron knew how to win championships. Once he started winning championships with the Miami Heat and D Wade, he knew how to win a championship. And he's gotten championships with two other teams. And there's nobody in common with those teams. He's played with different players and gotten championships. And that's special. And he was the lead player. On the Chicago Bulls, there were two leaders. Well, there were more than two leaders, but two prominent leaders that scored and also played defense. And that was Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was more of a facilitator, so he scored less. As Michael Jordan so correctly said, you cannot mention Michael Jordan without mentioning Scottie Pippen. The constant on the Bulls, the only two players that were in both three-peats is Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. They have 6 rings. Those two guys won the NBA championships 6 times. They're the only two players to win the NBA champion for the Bulls 6 times. See, a lot of you don't think. A lot of you just parrot the pervading sentiment. I even listened to players in the league talking just recently, Patrick Ewing saying that Michael Jordan is, in his opinion, is the greatest of all time, his GOAT. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to go by criteria, you have to also mention Scottie Pippen in the same vein as your GOAT. And you can say, oh, well, Michael Jordan looked great, and he looked better than Scottie Pippen when he was doing what he was doing. And, he came into the league, superstar. Okay. But guess what? No Scottie Pippen, no championship. No championship, less MVP status. Less MVP status or MVP doesn't really matter anymore because guess what? You can't be the most valuable player in the league and you ain't winning no championships. All comes down to championships. And in terms of players, not coaches, players, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen are equally responsible in their different ways for that happening. They couldn't do it without each other. These are facts. This is what happened. And while Scottie stayed more to the background and he wasn't as prominent as Michael Jordan, and people weren't, getting erections and going into orgasms over anytime Michael Jordan did something on the court, but not recognizing what Scottie Pippen was doing or the other team members were doing on the court, because they played into all the hype and the advertising and the commerce and the money that was backing Michael Jordan. If you look with straight eyes, you will realize there was a duo, equal partners. So if you're going to talk about Michael Jordan, as Michael Jordan said in his Hall of Fame speech, you must mention Scottie Pippen. No if, ands, or maybe. And if you have to mention Scottie Pippen, LeBron James has to be given the GOAT status, because he did it by himself. So did Shaquille O'Neal. Can't say Kobe Bryant, because some of the members on the team when Kobe Bryant was there were there when Shaq was there. So he also didn't do it by himself. LeBron did it by himself. Shaq did it by himself. I wouldn't say did it by himself. I would say he went with a different team and he was able to bring them to the championship. Let's put it that way. He was a piece the piece that they needed to win. Let's put it that way. So we can't say that of Michael Jordan, and we cannot say that of Scottie Pippen. So if you're going to talk about GOAT, I want to let y'all know, you better know what the hell you're talking about. Now, I've seen a lot of people try to go in on Scottie Pippen, even Shaq. When Scottie Pippen said, I have 6 rings, you got 4, bro. And Shaq was like, you're a tag along. Shaq, who can't shoot fucking free throws, don't have no kind of game like Scottie Pippen have game. Right? Doesn't have the versatility of Scottie Pippen, doesn't have the athleticism of Scottie Pippen. Shaq has the audacity. He had no grounds. Shaq has no grounds when it comes to Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is equally responsible as Michael Jordan for winning 6 championships and leading the Bulls to 6 championships. Jordan couldn't do it without Pippen. Pippen couldn't do it without Jordan. Now, Jordan was the glorified one. Scottie Pippen wasn't as stylish, didn't have as much swag. When Jordan jumped in the air, he cut back the thing, kick up his legs, have some hang time. Scottie had hang time too. Scottie was more dry, But Scottie could do everything that Michael Jordan could do. Reverse layups, back to the basket, throw the ball into the basket. He could do it all. And he was bigger, stronger, longer, jump higher, everything. Okay? Did more on the court than Michael Jordan did on a daily basis. I'm not talking about Jordan takes over a game, when he wants to or a certain time. No, I'm talking about consistently bringing it every night like a machine. That was Pippen. Now, having said that, I said, and Scottie Pippen agrees, there is no such thing as a GOAT. Maybe there's greatest in your era or most spectacular player in your era or whatever. But definitely Michael Jordan was a spectacle. I'm not going to deny that one. Spectacle don't win you championships. And we know Michael Jordan couldn't do it alone, because when he was by himself, they made it to the playoffs, but they got swept in the first round. The constant in all these championships is Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. You cannot talk about Michael Jordan, and y'all need to start learning to do this without mentioning Scottie Pippen. If y'all gonna praise Michael Jordan, you better praise Scottie Pippen. It was a duo. It wasn't a single. And just because Michael Jordan had more, he had more spectacle to him, and people came to see him more, and he was very showman-like, and he had all the deals and he had all the money. Doesn't mean that Scottie Pippen wasn't as valuable as he was in the game, because Scottie Pippen was. because he couldn't do shit without Scottie Pippen. All those accolades, all those 35, 45, 45 point games. Who's feeding them the ball? You got to get a ball. Somebody got to send the ball to you. So you cannot talk about Michael Jordan and leave out Scottie Pippen. I'm tired of this disrespect to Scottie Pippen. I am tired of it. It is bullshit. It was a duo. It wasn't no single person. And the media did this. The NBA facilitated it by giving Jordan MVP awards and all these things. And don't tell me he didn't deserve it, because most of them he did deserve. But I'm just saying, Scottie Pippen was humble enough not to fight over that. If this was Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant would be fighting down Michael Jordan for those MVP awards. Kobe Bryant would be fighting down Michael Jordan for the Defensive Player of the Year award, thinking he deserves the Defensive Player. That wasn't Scottie Pippen. Jordan had a good one with him. But Pippen could do everything that Michael Jordan could do, and some. And should have won Defensive Player of the Year a number of times over Michael Jordan. Yes, I said it. Over Michael Jordan. Now, I have to agree with Mr. Rhodes. Scottie Pippen has been one of the most disrespected all-time greats of all time. And by the way, I don't think that Scottie Pippen is ranked so low. They ever ranked at, 35 or something like that? In the all-time greats list? Nope. If you put Michael Jordan at number one, you got to put Scottie Pippen at number one. Because Michael Jordan couldn't win a championship without Scottie Pippen. And Scottie Pippen couldn't win a championship without Michael Jordan. If y'all going to elevate Michael Jordan to this GOAT status, you better elevate Scottie Pippen to a GOAT status too. It's only fair. Because unlike LeBron James, unlike Shaquille O'Neal, and many other players in the league, Michael Jordan couldn't win a championship without Scottie Pippen, and vice versa. And the reality is hitting me now harder than ever. Y'all have disrespected Scottie Pippen for far too long. And in Last Dance, Scottie Pippen deserved to go ballistic on everybody because y'all disrespect the man. When Scottie Pippen said he's the greatest of all time, y'all thought that was sacrilege. But think about it now. Because y'all don't think. Y'all just parrot. Y'all don't think. Think about it now. Could Michael Jordan have won a championship without Scottie Pippen? And the answer is no. There was no one like Scottie Pippen in the league at the time. Magic Johnson was too old. Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson would have been a match made in heaven. But there were no Michael Johnson-like characters out there except for Scottie Pippen, who had better defense than Magic Johnson, had better all-around scoring than Magic Johnson, and finally, most importantly, rebounded better than Magic Johnson, was ambidextrous. He could score with either hand, dunk with either hand. Michael Jordan favored his right hand more than anything else when he was doing his layups and his dunks. Scottie could dunk with his left hand. He could dunk with his right hand. Tony Kukoc was something like that. But Tony Kukoc came after. The Bulls team was a highly talented, highly skilled team with a lot of people who were great scorers who sacrificed that to play other positions. But what I am saying to you is they all wanted to win. Now, Michael Jordan, his career was a fairy tale. He got all the accolades, all the money, all the business, all the merchandise. He got it all. He benefited all. But what is sad is a man who was as deserving as Michael Jordan, was treated so poorly by both the Bulls establishment and also by the media. Scottie Pippen. And I know Scottie Pippen doesn't necessarily care about that shit. He's not put out his book. He's also has some products that he has out there. And he's teaching his son and basketball and stuff like that. But I look at this man who has taken a lot of shit. And then in The Last Dance, Michael Jordan has the audacity to say Scottie Pippen is selfish. He knows better than that. You know Scottie Pippen better than that, Michael. Michael Jordan would never be what he is today without Scottie Pippen. End of story. And Michael Jordan has the obligation to set the record straight. He has the obligation to get out there and say, Scottie Pippen, if you call me the GOAT, Scottie Pippen's the GOAT too. He has a right to re-endorse whatever Scottie Pippen says. Because Michael Jordan knows better. If y'all want to call me the GOAT, then you got to call Scottie Pippen the GOAT, because I couldn't win any championships without Scottie Pippen. And all those MVPs and all those things would mean nothing if I didn't win a championship. He need to come out and set the record straight on that shit. He said it in his Hall of Fame speech, but he needs to say it again. He already got the shoe deals. He's got everything. You cannot talk about the greatness of Michael Jordan if you do not talk about the greatness of Scottie Pippen. And I've listened to guys, and don't get me wrong, Michael Jordan helped Scottie Pippen become what he was. Nobody's saying no. Right? You saw the potential of Scottie Pippen, they started training together. I'm not saying Michael Jordan's not a spectacular player. I've seen spectacular moves by him. He opened our minds. But what I overlooked was Scottie Pippen. And the more I look at video footage of this man and what he did in the games, and how he changed games, and how he turned around games, not to say that Michael Jordan didn't do the same, but everybody knows about the Michael Jordan account because everybody covered it. It's Scottie Pippen who's been running under our radar, and we haven't realized this guy was an all-time great. He is just as great as Michael Jordan. And I know that sounds crazy because y'all want to say, well, Michael Jordan used to score so much. Because Michael Jordan that was his job. His job was to score. He was one of the major scorers for the Bulls. Scottie Pippen sacrificed scoring so he could get the ball up the court and deliver it to Jordan, and deliver it to this guy, and deliver it to that guy, and deliver it to the hot hand. Okay? So he sacrificed scoring to facilitate. Like LeBron. Which is why players on almost any team will tell you they love Scottie Pippen. Why? He gave them the ball. He provided the ball for them. They get to shoot. You on a team with Scottie Pippen, you love Scottie Pippen because you know he's going to give you the ball. Okay? Duh. And his mentality was like that. He always thought about the players. He's always thinking about his team. He's always thinking, because that's how he is, right? He's a Magic Johnson kind of guy. That's why Scottie Pippen loved Magic Johnson so much. Okay? Okay. So LeBron, Scottie Pippen, Magic Johnson, they're all kind of the variations of the same kind of player. Okay? Michael Jordan, Julius Erving, help me out here. Kobe Bryant. They're a different kind of player. Okay? The combination of the two produced championships. And I'm sure they could have gotten championship after championship after championship if they just kept their minds on it. Two different kinds of ways of playing the game, but both, when combined together and working in harmony, produce an unstoppable force. I felt I needed to talk about this because everybody talk about the GOAT, 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 the GOAT. The GOAT. Well, you can't talk about Michael Jordan as the GOAT and you leave out Scottie Pippen. You can't do it. And Michael Jordan knows that. So what did he tell you? He told you, I don't know about the greatest player of all time. I could tell you about the greatest team of all time. Bravo. I agree. It's a team sport. And the Chicago Bulls is one of the greatest teams of all time. I can't tell you about everything because I haven't seen all the teams throughout history of basketball. But I'll tell you this. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were the two constants in those two three-peats. They couldn't do it without each other. Period. And every member of that team in those two teams that made the two three-peats, was important. Every member. And if you're talking about greatest teams of all time, now you start to talk. That's where the separation begins. The Chicago Bulls. So that's why I said Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, they're like-minded kind of individuals in that they're winners. And both of them, having played for the Chicago Bulls and having passed through that and having won championships with that team and that organization, should want to see that organization bettered again. And any other team they've been on, whether it's the Washington Wizards, whether Michael Jordan now is dealing with the Charlotte, what do they call them? The Charlotte Bobcats, right? Whatever you call them, Michael Jordan is vested in that, obviously, right now, but also the Chicago Bulls. And why I say this is because, again, this is an interesting discussion, which leads to when you say somebody's GOAT, or you say a team is GOAT, that's cool. But if the players are still alive to this day, they have something to offer to the next generation. And true GOAT status, in my opinion, is when you pass on things to the next generation and you have a burning desire that the franchise you work for to see them prosper and do well, and whatever franchises you're involved in as well. And I can't see why people with such knowledge of the game of basketball and such great ability shouldn't pass that on to the next generation the best way they know how. I'm going to say this. While Jordan and Scottie Pippen had a professional relationship, amicable one, I'm assuming, and I see why Scottie Pippen feels so slighted, and he should. He should feel slighted. God damn it. Because he did just as much as Michael Jordan did to get those championships. I don't like hearing people say that he was Michael Jordan's sidekick. And no, at a certain point in time, he was not Michael Jordan's little brother anymore. He was now equal. And Michael Jordan even acknowledged that. So I don't want to hear this talk about GOAT status between Jordan and LeBron when you are not bringing up Scottie Pippen's name. I think it's an insult to Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan did not, I'm talking facts, did not win any championship without Scottie Pippen. Player-wise, we're talking. I'm not talking about coach. He never won a championship without Scottie Pippen. And Scottie Pippen never won a championship without Michael Jordan. And I'll say it again, one more time for you guys to hear me. These two guys are equals. Even though Scottie Pippen did not get the money, the accolades, and the recognition that he deserves, he is on par with Michael Jordan when it comes to them winning championships and needing to win championships with each other. And y'all better recognize that shit. Everything Michael Jordan could do, Scottie Pippen could do it in his own way. Scottie Pippen was a cool customer, obviously. He smoked weed. That's why he's so chill. Scottie's one of the most chill guys you'll ever find. Scottie Pippen reminds me of T-Mac. He reminds me of T-Mac a lot. And it's now no surprise when I found out that Jerry Krause was trying to court T-Mac. But obviously T-Mac didn't want to go with the Bulls after he realized that Jerry Krause was probably the reason the Bulls were removed. Okay? The old team, because there was no other reason. It had to be him. But T-Mac reminds me of Scottie Pippen. I would not be surprised if T-Mac took things from Scottie Pippen. So did Kobe, but I mean, Kobe's attitude was more like Michael. But T-Mac, oh yeah, he got the same demeanor, same personality as Scottie Pippen. And I'm pretty sure T-Mac with Shaquille O'Neal, they'd have won a lot of championships because Shaquille would have gotten to do what he wanted to do. T-Mac would have facilitated him and the rest of the team. And with Phil Jackson would have found that balance because, again, T-Mac has a personality like Scottie Pippen. Shaq has a personality more like, well, kind of like Jordan mostly. Now, really, the work ethic wasn't there. But Shaq would have pulled his weight even more because T-Mac would have been more like Pippen. You know? So, whatever. Well, T-Mac would have had to play more defense as well because Shaq's slow on getting back to defense as a center. But I could see T-Mac and Shaq doing things. I could see Scottie Pippen and Shaq doing things. Scottie Pippen would probably have won a couple of championships with Shaq as well. You know, I could see that because Shaq needs a facilitator. You know, and with Phil Jackson, you know, filling out the cast and beefing up the defense, yeah, I see Scottie Pippen winning rings with Shaq. More rings than Kobe did because Kobe would have clashed with Shaq. Kobe looking to score more than Shaq and all that shit. That wouldn't have happened. There would be no rift between Shaq and Pippen. No rift between Shaq and T-Mac, you know. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys because I think a lot of people like to put these things as if Michael Jordan was winning the rings and all this shit by himself. As if, you know, it was just a totally different set of players all the time. No. There was a totally different set of players except for one constant, Scottie Pippen. He ain't doing it. He ain't winning no fucking ring without Scottie Pippen. He never did. And we can't, we could suppose if we want to. Maybe he'll win one or two. But he ain't winning six. He ain't winning six. And y'all know this. And Michael Jordan was a great player. And Scottie Pippen ain't winning no 6 rings without Michael Jordan. It's just not happening. We don't even know if Scottie Pippen would have been the Scottie Pippen today without Michael Jordan. So all I'm saying is, you can't mention Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen. And y'all need to stop that shit. Oh, yeah, have you seen Michael Jordan? And you only show highlights of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. No. I'm not gonna let y'all. I'm gonna check y'all ass. You show highlights of Michael Jordan, you better show the defensive plays and the highlights of Scottie Pippen. And for that matter, you need to show all the highlights of the Chicago Bulls. Because Steve Kerr shone at certain times. John Paxson shone at certain times. Ron Harper shone at certain times. Bill Cartwright shone at certain times. Horace Grant shone at certain times. Dennis Rodman shone at certain times. Tony Kukoc shone at certain times. Jed Bushler shone at certain times. Williams, what is his name? Scott Williams shone at certain times. They showed up. They showed up and they showed out. Okay? There's more. Craig Hodges, who won the 3-point contest. Nobody talked about that. Craig Hodges was a sharp shooter. You bring Craig Hodges on, you dump a 3 on your ass. B.J. Armstrong. Come on now. We got to talk real stuff, man. Yeah, Michael Jordan was the superstar. You know, he was the guy. you know, in the Wheaties commercials and you know, and what's the name? The Gatorade, right? Yeah, Nike, I got you, I got you. He had all of the sponsorship stuff. Okay, I got you. But I ain't even the face of the league and all that. I got you. But he ain't winning no damn championships without Scottie Pippen. So stop the shit. Scottie Pippen may not have had all of those sponsorships and all that big time shit, but y'all deserve to put some fucking respect on that man's name. Because that man, without him, Jordan ain't doing that shit that he did. And without Jordan, Scottie Pippen wasn't doing that shit that he did.